Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Unfound Podcast Channel on YouTube. I'm, of course, Ed Denzel, Unfound's host. I hope everybody is having a fantastic week. So, this is, of course, a map analysis for the disappearance of Barbara McCray from, as you can see on the screen, Buchanan, Georgia. Now, you may see some places it may say Felton, it may say Cedartown, but when you type in this actual address where she lived at the time, 540 Dugdown Road, what a cool name, it comes out as Buchanan, Georgia. So, and it's kind of like there's like a triangle area of different towns, and I suppose you could maybe go 1 mile one way or 1 mile the other way, and it's a different address. But that is where she was living at the time, of course, with her son, Todd. So I want to just show you some things that Amy, her granddaughter, mentioned during the interview to give you a better idea of the location. And we'll take a look at the surrounding area, of course, as well. Now, if you'll remember, in the interview that Amy did, she talked about power lines that when this other family member was coming home that night, if we're to believe this sighting was on July 31st of 2021, that it was over here by these power lines, which are right here. You see this line here? And maybe I'll move this screen over just a little bit like that. You'll see this empty area right here. That, if you ever see that on a satellite photo and wondering, what is that? That's the carve out for power lines. That's the right of way that the power company has to go in, across people's property, and just take out everything they have to put the power lines in. Of course, most power lines have been put in years ago. But they'll clear that all out, so it's easy access in case something happens. It's also in case there's like any storms, no branches, no trees can fall onto the lines as well. So they really cut it really wide. Well, when she was talking about down by the power lines, this is what she meant. So seemingly, Barbara was over in this area when this relative who was in his car saw her. You also remember that Amy mentioned the highway. This is the highway we are talking about, this yellow line way over two double parallel lines on the far right side of the screen. That is Route 27. And I will just zoom out so you can see what area this is of Georgia. So here's Atlanta over here, and I went to the. I actually went to a wedding not quite a year ago, right up in this area. So I was kind of near this area not quite a year ago. So I didn't realize that until just a couple days ago. But so we're looking at also very close to the Georgia-Alabama border as well. If you take a look at that, you can see the little dotted line. So this Route 27 running north and south, I'll zoom this in again. So she was sighted, if we're to believe it's the same day, but of course, the tough thing, Barbara liked to take quite a few walks, so you have to figure that into your calculations if you want to think it's the same day or not. We know how often people get their days wrong, but what may lend some credibility to it is that it seems like this is something that this person brought forward very, very quickly, in contrast to if this person hadn't done this said this until a couple months later, and then you might be very doubtful about it. Also, you will hear that Amy talked about a railroad track. Well, that railroad track is right here, kind of wraps right around this area. It goes up here. In fact, I think there's even a train in this picture right there, and it wraps right around there. So you heard about searches that were done also in that direction, going toward the train tracks. And what those train tracks do is they come wrap around here and then go off in this direction toward the highway, wrap right around this dug down road. So that area was also searched, this way and that way. But once again, she was seen over here, seemingly walking towards the highway. But also, you'll remember that Amy talked about how Todd had seemingly been seen that same night after dark, 11:30 at night, by someone. And she said it was in totally the opposite direction. And what she meant, it was over this way. So Barbara over in this direction, but Todd was seen over here. I'm not saying he had anything to do with it, but was he out there riding around? If we're to believe the sighting, and I'll bring up sightings again, we don't even know. We're sure if it's the same night. People tend to think it was, but that doesn't mean it was. We've learned that the hard way, I think, on Unfound many times. So she's seen over here, but Todd was seen seemingly going home, coming back this way. Might have been the same night. Maybe he was out looking for her. Of course, you want to go in a more conspiratorial direction. You can do that. But that is, those are the locations that were noted. And you can see that this road kind of just, to move it a little this way, this road kind of just, wraps around and eventually just goes right back out to the highway if you don't go off here in a west direction. But I think what you're also seeing here is this would not be the easiest area to search. You see a lot of, we see a lot of darker colors, which usually we equate with woods or brush or something like that. You start seeing like a lighter color. If I were to zoom this out a little more, over here maybe to the west, that's grass. It's very short. Grass, maybe it'd be hard for somebody to hide in that area, but you see all this dark brown and dark green. Can make searches very tough, and even if you have dogs, I'm not a big fan of dogs, but even so, you have dogs, but then you have people on ATVs. Sometimes they start cutting corners because ATVs can't go anywhere, and some people just don't want to get off their ATVs. They're just on a trail, and they're looking to the left, they're looking to the right. Well, that's not complete coverage, not in my book anyway. So you have to get down there, boots on the ground, people going through these areas, and we know how tough that can be. But at least they tried to do so. So that is the area. It's just hard to say. Barbara seemed like a very nice woman. A lot of children, a lot of grandchildren, a lot of great-grandchildren. But we all know how dementia can affect people, and they're just unpredictable. They can be just the regular selves, and one day be totally someone else, and of course that never gets any better. So we have to keep that in mind. So that is the location. Those are some of the points that were brought up in my interview with Amy, Barbara's granddaughter. And I hope you will give this video a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to this channel if you are not yet a subscriber. And I will talk to you again real soon. Thanks for watching.